Hey there, everybody. This is Line Space here on Note Taking, and we are back playing more I Was a Teenage Exocolonist. So, I was definitely emotionally drained by the end of the last recording session, which, considering everything that happened, makes sense. Talk about a brutal time, honestly. This game kept just hitting over and over again, one emotional beat after the next. And I think what really made it a struggle for me was that we simulated something similar to grief, at least, because we struggled with all the new changes that happened after all the losses we suffered. And of course we then ended the stream on pretty horrible loss. And in his name, let's go work on some Xenowater. Let's see what it's like when Dad's not around. You've been studying the sponge cake you found out in the Valley of Vertigo in that oddly squishy trampoline-y ground. As you suspected, it is a type of fungus. The analysis bench tells you it contains edible starches. Once dried and processed with a maturing agent, acidic spark snow would work nicely. It will make a wonderful flower. The challenge now is to cultivate it. It multiplies quickly, and you've seen how it stops anything else from growing near it. Plant it in a backfield. You plant the sponge cake in a special field, quarantined on the other side of the geoponics domes, from the rest of the crops. By the end of the month, you can already tell that it's taken root and will start producing viable food soon. You should get your first harvest during pollen, when the sponge swells up and is at its sweetest. Cultivating sponge cake, 2 with a +2 cards with gems. That's not the least useful thing we've ever seen. Many of the earth crops grow through dust and need to be harvested before wet. This means the colony has more food available year-round. It's going to be an incredible boon. You visit your mom's little garden. There's a small shrine set up in memory of her and your father. Her favorite flowers, his old boots. On Earth, they used to put whole bodies into boxes and bury them underground. Colonies always skip the decomposition step, using a process to quickly render bodies into nutrient-rich mulch. Your mom and dad stipulated that their remains would be used here, added to the dirt they tended so lovingly in life. Sitting here, feel like they could be just around the corner. Leave a gift. Our mom loved flowers. You leave a gift at the shrine. Your burdens and your pockets feel a little lighter. You hear footsteps behind you and the creaking of the little garden gate. Cal kneels beside you and gazes at the shrine. I miss them too. He murmurs, I know I have more parents than the average person, but your mom and dad were kind of like my parents too. They taught me everything I know about agriculture and how to care for animals. He smiles sadly. I hope I can be half the farmer they were. All the pieces and blubber your eyes out except Cal's hug. Who's in charge of geoponics now? This definitely feels too cold to accept Cal's hug, especially after their recent conversations. Cal sighs. Me. Think. That makes sense. You're young for it, but... well, no one really wanted the job, Cal replies. He scratches his fingers in the loamy dirt as he speaks. Your parents were kind of... well, without them, no one really comes close. Most everyone else who works in geoponics, they're just semi-skilled workers who don't know much of the actual science as they did. They really pushed me to learn that stuff too, he says. You know, nitrogen cycles and soil chemistry and veterinary science. So I guess everyone just kinda thought I could train up at it. He sighs and rubs his chin, leaving an earthy smear. It's not like I want the job, he admits. I mean, I'm only 17. What do I know about running a farm? But the way the other people in geoponics talk about it, it's like they think it's cursed. Stops and smiles apologetically. Sorry. I'm sure it's not really cursed. Mostly, Cal continues, everyone here is just doing the same job they always were. I'm supposed to go to council meetings, but I just let them make decisions and they tell me what to do. Oh, that's a rough time, man. That's a really shitty time. I'm glad you and Tammy get to enjoy each other sometimes. You and Cal sit and contemplate your parents' memorial shrine for a while longer. Eventually, Cal has to get back to work. He lets you know it's okay to take the day off, if you need to. Holy crap. This game is real. Maybe that's just a me thing. Jeez. just feels like a lot all the time. Our biology's doing well, though. We definitely don't want to take the job from Cal. Cal's wanted to do this forever. We just started helping with it. And we only really started doing it because, well, mechanically it's what makes sense. Oh boy. Damn, why so distant? How about giving everyone their gifts? This is a new recording session because I needed to take a break. Oh no. Alright, that's something we've already seen from Nomi. Oh, we reached the next level of friendship with Nomi. Nomi is camped out in the lounge, their holopad screens spread out before them like a drawing table. On another screen is a collection of photos of a manticore. Nomi looks between the two screens, their brow furrowed in concentration as they scribble directly onto the screen with stylus. What you doing? Well, Nomi replies thoughtfully, I wanted to write and illustrate a story about aliens, like in Turbo Girl Hyperjet Transform, except using the Xenos here on Vertumna, like manticores and faceless and stuff. Oh. But they can talk, and instead of attacking the colony, they help people instead. This is gonna get too real. Faceless would never help people. Nomi stops drawing and looks up at you, tapping their stylus against their lips. Huh? Do you think so? Even in Turbo Girl Hyperjet Transform, the aliens aren't totally bad. Like in the second OVA, when the Medusa demons show up, the aliens and the Turbo Girls band together to defeat their common enemy. Kinda makes you wonder if you can call a whole species evil, right? You have a point. Faceless aren't gonna help anybody. Yeah, I thought so too, Nomi replies. Why can't life imitate art? Nomi looks up at you with a start. Oh, they exclaim. That reminds me. So, I'm trying to brush up on my xenoanatomy, and I'm totally fine with writing, but... They blow out a big breath, ruffling their bangs. I kinda haven't been here long enough to make sure it feels right, you know? To make it go pop. And I want to make sure I'm being, sensitive about stuff I don't know a lot about. But I was wondering, could you help me with some of the world building? I'd love to needs too high of creativity for us. Our creativity actually isn't that bad. I could try. Let's try and help our new friend. You spend an enjoyable afternoon helping Nomi with their story. When you're done, they give you a big hug and thank you profusely for your help. Tammy. Flower. Oh, and now Tammy wants to do something with us. You see Tammy stumbling down the path from the depot, struggling to carry a large wooden box. The box looks to be stuffed with rolls of paper and other craft detritus. Give her a hand. You jog over and take one side of the box. Oh, hi! Tammy chirps. Thank you. It's not heavy, just awkward, and together you can carry it easily into the crash. Tammy sets the box down inside the lounge and smooths out her skirts. Goodness, she exclaims. There's more and more in this box every year. She reaches in the box and pulls out a floppy-headed puppet. Oh, kindness. They were always my favorite, Tammy says, stroking its long pink hair. Do you remember putting on Gratitude Day skits when we were kids? It's hard to forget. Once a year on the Stratospheric, all the adults would cook a big meal and talk about how grateful they were for things like the oxygen recycler working and babies being born. And the kids would put on a puppet show about the beginnings of the Vertumna project. All the puppets had allegorical names like kindness or courage or curiosity. You remember some years you could get a little creative with the details. You've heard adults talk about how there used to be a similar feast day back on Earth. Whenever you've asked about it, all they'll say is that the way they do it now is way better for some reason. You nod and Tammy smiles fondly as she pulls out more puppets. Oh, here's hope, and resilience too. Oh, that's ironic. Resilience needs a little bit of love before she's ready for the stage. Tammy runs her fingers over Resilience's loose button eyes. I think Anemone was the very best Resilience, she says thoughtfully. You remember when she and Mars both wanted to play Resilience, so they drew straws and Anemone had to play Ingenuity? She was great at breaking stuff in herself, shows a lack of imagination. That's mean. She was great at breaking stuff. Oh my gosh, I thought Tangent was going to light Anemone on fire with her mind! Tammy exclaims, pressing her hands to her cheeks. She always wanted to be Ingenuity. You remember Dis's song about Earth, and when the puppet stage collapsed, what was your favorite part? Ah, those were fun times. I'm glad we don't do. You remember Dis's song? He never sang the same lyrics twice, Tammy says, then sighs. I was so sad when he stopped wanting to take part. I wonder what happened. Probably that distance he feels between himself and people. Tammy gasps, and we all had to stand there and act like it was a play? Oh no, that was the worst! Aww. What was your favorite part? Tammy's cheeks darken. I like working on the set and the puppets with Cal, she says, touching her fingertip to her lips. I was always too worried I would mess up my lines. Ah, those were fun times. +1 Tammy's confidence. Tammy folds her hands over her heart and sighs. I'm so happy we still have all these old dolls. And the littlest kids don't even know how we used to do this. I can't wait to teach them. Well, that's cute. Also, I personally love Thanksgiving, but it's also with the understanding that Thanksgiving itself is not necessarily a great thing everywhere, and it's more the spirit of the holiday that I like more than anything else. Do you like crystal clusters? No. I will find something you like eventually. Oh, you spot Nem talking to Vase. He smiles warmly and claps her on the shoulder, and she goes red, stammering around a goodbye as he walks away. Oh! Hey, Vissa! She says when you approach. If it turns out that Nem simply isn't into girls, and that's why I haven't gotten any options for romancing her, I actually have zero problems with that. Genuinely, none at all. I think it's nice when a game makes a decision like that. Makes me a little bummed, because I think it would have... Oh, hey! Now we know Cal's birthday. That'll be useful in the future. Okay. We're still popular, so let's go make some more kudos. Research xenobotany. One of your experiments goes a little wild, and Congruence has to slam the safety containment controls to lock you inside the lab. Scary! Luckily, it's a false alarm. With some weird spores you accidentally unleash when you cut into a seed pod. You analyze them and determine that they don't pose a risk to the rest of geoponics. I feel like I should not be allowed to do this, but there's also no longer anybody to stop me. Really wish I had a wild here. Oh, yeah, that's enough to get Super Gold. No need to worry any more than that, then. Plenty of kudos out of that. I'm really curious what we end up when we get what the biology perk is at second level. Since the first level was just being able to do this. Alright, making sure nobody wants to talk at us. Nem's with her crush. Nem was such a wild kid. I worry about her with someone like Vase. Doesn't seem good for her. But can't stop her if that's what she wants to do. Then we'd be a bad friend. Only try and support her and hope it works out. That's my opinion. I know last time I talked about taking off Squidly, but I just can't get myself to do it. I love Squidly. Let's get rid of one of these float cows. I've just got too many of them. I got rid of the blue, yes, but next time do expect me to get rid of the scary face. I'm just so not good at using that card. Right, that's what that does. Research xenobotany. Your work often overlaps with Tangent's work in the biochemistry and genetics lab, so it's not uncommon for her to hop by and ask questions, or for you to ask her for help interpreting some test results. She's uncharacteristically animated whenever she gets to talk about science, almost like she's a whole different person. She even laughs sometimes. Don't you think it's so interesting how Vertumnan's species resist being classified by any known taxonomy? She asks, peering into the root network cube sandwiched between pieces of clear glass. Yeah, by the way, a shout out to the artists that are part of this game for being able to make the Vertumnan species look absolutely amazing and believably part plant, part fungus, part rock, part animal. She stands up. It feels like everything is a little bit fungal. she says. Spores, fruiting bodies, mycelial networks, even in animals. Some animals here even photosynthesize. She nods excitedly. The division between plant, animal, and fungus is less strict here than it was on Earth. At the cellular level, many animal species have properties of plants, and vice versa. She launches into an explanation of how high-energy bonds store energy and require metal catalysts like iron in human blood and chlorophyll in green earth plants, but how the different hues of autumnal plants must mean they use an entirely unknown elemental catalyst, possibly not even a metal at all. It's a little advanced for you, but Tang is very excited about it. Yeah, this is going straight over my head. She stops and takes a breath, winded by her own monologue. Zounds, Vissa! If autumnal plants and animals share an elemental catalyst, we found out what it is, we can learn so much about this planet. I don't think we flirt. I think we help advance her theory. Because we're not that friendly. You show Tangent what you've been working on. All the samples and simulations, the results of scans and experiments. Incredible, Tangent says, going over your notes. You've been attempting to map the genomes of various samples in order to construct a phylogenetic tree, but we're at capacity already. Can I take this? Of course. 10 kudos and 1 help Tangent. Tangent smiles. Thank you, Vissa. This is more helpful than I can say. Chief Engineer Instance forwards you some kudos for sharing your research. I mean, it seemed rude not to. He had an achievement for having 5 5s. That's fantastic. Oh, 5 5s is the same color. That's why it's called 5's Flush. I like that. That's entertaining. Alright. Our stress is doing pretty well. I think what we're gonna go ahead... Oh, wait. I should give presents since we're in wet now. I am so not great at remembering and thinking about things. Like the medicinal roots. Aww. It's just like her brother. This is interesting, is all Tang says, taking the roots and turning them over in her hands. Her lip curls into distaste, the dirt still clings to them. No, really, she protests when she sees the look on your face. I'm going to have to analyze these roots to see if they have any useful properties. They might be medicinal. She turns to walk away, then remembers herself. Thank you, she adds, almost as an afterthought. That's precious that her and Dis both like those. That's very cute. I have so many flowers. I can't remember if I've given Nomi a flower. Mars, have a flower. You seem like you would like this. Yes, she does. She holds the flower up to look at it. A flower? A cheap gift. I suppose it will look good in my hair. Thank you. I missed the sass I normally put into her voice until the very end. Sorry about that. Have egg. Cal. Cal, why are you so far away? Cal. Cal, enjoy bobber fruit. Oh, and... You had plans to hang out with Cal today, but when you arrive at the Geoponics Dome, it's worryingly dark inside. What are we at? This is the 60 event? It is the 60 event. You fumble around in the red emergency lighting until all the lights come back on with a heavy ka-chunk of a breaker being flipped. You blink into the sudden blinding light until the figures of Cal and Chief Engineer Instance resolve themselves in your vision. Absolutely no more of that, young man, Instance scolds Cal as he cradles his hoverboard in his arms. The power grid is not your plaything. I understand, Auntie, Cal says. I'm sorry. Instance smutters to herself as she passes you. Honestly, all this over a toy. Hey, Dudette! Oh, God. Cal greets you. Sorry, I meant to meet you outside after work, but he looks down at his hoverboard. My board wouldn't start, and I figured it was maybe out of juice. But when I plugged it in, it threw off all these sparks, and then the whole power grid shut down. That's how your girlfriend almost died! Cal's shoulders slump. I was gonna ask Dr. Instance to take a look at it. She told me she doesn't have time to fix a dumb toy. We take a look at it. Yeah. You do have an engineering score now, but not high enough. I'm sorry, Cal, that sucks. Just broke. I'm sorry, Cal. Yeah, Cal says. It's just... Cal rubs his eyes. You only got a few things left from when we were kids, you know? Everything else is broken or gone or dead. It's always kind of sad when a piece of old technology needs to be retired. But Cal seems to take this one harder than most. He hugs the hoverboard to his chest and excuses himself, not wanting to hear your goodbye. So we're not going to go research xenobiology today because I want to go and try and find more xenobiology. Rex and Nomi are curled up together, his head on their lap, as they watch something on Nomi's holopalm. Nomi pauses the show and Rex grumbles sleepily. He must have almost drifted off. Hi, Nomi says, scratching behind Rex's ear. You watch Turbo Girl or Hyperjet transform with us? We're almost ready to start the OVAs. Take your crystals, and I will come and watch TV with you another time. What's up? You head out of the colony hoping to find Dis, and you do, as well as Rhett and Utopia, who have teamed up to talk to Dis about something that has him scowling deeply. It was different before the attacks, you hear Utopia say, but you're older now, and when you're on expedition, you can get into a lot more danger than when you were just a little kid going on walkabout. When you're out there on my team, I'm counting on you to do as you're told, and to be where you said you'd be. She gestures beseechingly. What am I going to do if something happens to you out there, kid? What if you disappear one day and you're hurt and no one knows where to find you? What if... I'll be fine, Dis cuts her off. I can take care of myself. If I can't, that's on me. That's not how it works here, Rhett says, his voice stern. You're not just putting yourself in danger out there, you're putting the whole colony in danger. I know you're a bit of a loner, son, but you have family here. All of us. We're all your family. We're going to send people out to find you, and what if they get into the same trouble you did, he continues. We're counting you to follow directions out there, to keep everyone safe, not just yourself. What if I don't want to be found? Dis explodes, waving his arms. What if I want to be left the hell alone? Rhett and Utopia are stunned by Dis's outburst. Rhett opens his mouth to respond, but Dis talks over him. If I don't come back, just leave me out there, he spits. If this planet wants me dead, maybe I deserve it. Huh? Don't you ever think about that? Maybe I deserve to die out there? Maybe we all do? With that, Dis stomps away. Rhett and Utopia look stunned. You follow Dis around the outer walls of the colony, where he's angrily pulling things out of the drainpipe hiding hole he's long since outgrown. Stupid humans, he grumbles, stuffing what looks like a bedroll into a carrying bag. Never think of anything except... he continues, trailing off when he sees you. What do you want? You okay? I'm great, Dis mutters. Just awesome, actually. Yeah, thanks for asking. You watch him pull things from his hideaway and throw them into two piles. Screw this colony, he says. I didn't ask to be a part of it. I don't need it. I don't need anyone. I'd be better off living in the woods, like an animal. At least that's real. He reaches in far and pulls out a busted-up looking mechanical device, his old alien communicator he made using gear he stole from Command. Jeez, he laughs. Guess I don't need this anymore. Oh, God. Vissa needs something to cling to. Tammy has Cal and everything to do with geoponics is hard, and as much as Vissa might be trying to, it's not her. I had her introduce herself to Vase as an explorer, and that's what she is. That's what she's become. She fights, she defends, she doesn't sit around. And watching Dis leave would prompt something like this. Just like he's saying all this from a stupid teenage perspective, she would say this from the same way. This takes a second to consider this before your meaning sets in. But why? He replies, baffled. Come on, Vissa, you have a whole, life here, a future. You have friends, people who love you. Don't throw it all away just to be with them. Not worth it. His face softens. Look, maybe you want some setup, okay? I'll send you a message. You really mean it. This finishes packing up the stuff he's going to keep, which barely amounts to a full backpack. He straps onto his back and nods at you, determined. Did I ever tell you my full name? He asks, seemingly randomly. No, you didn't. Just smiles a little at that, just with the corner of his mouth as he huffs a self-deprecating laugh. Yeah, I probably wouldn't have. It sucks, honestly. It's dysmithia. What does it mean? Just takes a breath and lets it all out, his shoulders slumping. It means being sad. What a joke, right? Who names their kid that? Who names their kid that after giving them the genetic trait of not being scared? He shakes his head. Aunt Anna always talks about how babies make everyone happier. Was my mom sad before she had me in Tang? Or did having us make her sad? Smile twists. Me? Is I the reason? So this is really setting in the fact that I have no concept of what Disentangent's parental situation is. Discuss his boot in the dirt. Whatever, he mumbles. No one's cared about me, basically ever, since before I was born. My own mom didn't love me, but like one person who you think could. He looks up at the sky and blinks rapidly. Whatever, he repeats. I'm out of here. Thanks for everything, Vissa. The only good thing about this shithole. I'm gonna miss you. Cry. Yeah, this is the situation that would just break. You drop to your knees and begin to sob, begging him to stay. This hesitates for a moment, but when you look up again, he's already moving towards the wilderness. You watch him disappear between the fungal trees. Within minutes, he's out of sight. You're getting ready for bed later that day when you receive a colony-wide announcement through your hollow palm. It reads as follows. Calling notice. Reminder that there are to be no unauthorized trips outside the walls without prior authorization from the Expedition's command. Anyone caught in violation, this rule will be punished. This includes going for a walk. It is dangerous outside the walls and is only to be done by trained and armed personnel. Thank you, command. How about that? You send Dis a message. This messages you back immediately with just a picture of a knife. You're guessing he didn't get very far. Dis jumps out of the bed of an expedition's transport, slapping it fondly on the roof before turning to you. He looks uncommonly comfortable in his skin. Hey Vissa, he says. It was a good day out there. Doesn't elaborate. Here. Press him. Huh. Well, that... Man. What do now? Like, I was gonna go out there to look for things for xenobiology, and I probably still should, from a mechanical standpoint, but... Like, now this is just another thing that wants to take more things away from us. Pretty sure we did not survey the plains yet this year, so... Let's come out here. Let's see if there's anything to find. Prosaic Plains. High Prosaic Plains. I know this is where we at least at one point found the bounding weasels, I think they're called. I don't remember if that was this year or not. A nice little walk is fine. Besides, builds our friendship with this. And of course, there's Sim. Oh hey, Sim is at 16. You're enjoying a relatively uneventful second sun of taking readings for one of Utopia's geological surveys when... Your world shifts on an unnatural axis as Sim comes crashing seemingly out of thin air, grappling with skyfish almost as big as he is. Look out! He calls, though it's far too late for that. The ground rushes up to meet you, and it's all you can do to close your eyes and protect your head. To make matters worse, in the ensuing tussle, they completely crush the delicate scanning equipment you just finished setting up. Utopia is going to be upset. What the heck was that? You yell at Sim, who just shrugs helplessly while he holds the skyfish at bay. The whole damn mess. What's he doing bare-knuckle boxing with skyfish? Honestly! The skyfish flops around pitifully, then springs back into the sky and flies away, trilling in distress. Didn't even look dangerous, really. Vissa. Oh, Vissa, Sim croaks, and you turn your attention to him. Blood is pouring from a wound on his chest, where one of the skyfish's spines must have pierced his otherwise perfect skin. The kind of thing that will definitely leave a scar, or worse. Holding the wound closed, Sim smiles sheepishly. I guess my future sight isn't always 20/20. Holy shit, are you going to be okay? He waves dismissively with the hand that's not holding his ding-dang chest together. This is but a flesh wound, he says, then smiles. Did I say it right? It's from one of your Earth movies. I quite liked it. Ah, they're fans of Monty Python. I'm here for this. Okay. He coughs. He and I are similarly difficult to kill completely. I believe that statement, Sim. He grins. You think it's just a coincidence that I'm always there at exactly the right time to save you? At night, when I'm asleep, he corrects himself. I sometimes see visions of things going to happen. At least that could happen. My dreams aren't always true, Sim says, wincing as he applies pressure to the wound. The paths branch and converge. Time is more like a web than a line, I think. He smiles weakly. But always in the center, there's you. I can see the future too. And Sim laughs. You must not be very good at it either. Try to explain. You tell him it's kind of like remembering, but in your dreams. It's happened ever since you were a little kid, like you're remembering things that haven't happened yet. You admit that some of them are pretty rough, like visions of people dying. Sim nods in agreement as you explain. Some gardeners have this ability, he says, but it takes hundreds, even thousands of years to develop. It seems you were born with it. I can't tell you how this future sight works, Sim continues. To be honest, I don't even know. But if you're curious... He's clearly grappling with something, and not just the sluggishly bleeding wound in his chest. His voice drops. You might look for answers under the light of the wormhole in gloom. He confesses. You press him for more, but he begs you simply leave him to handle his injury in peace. You come up on Sim practicing something that looks like yoga. His body moves in very unnatural ways, like he's double-jointed. There's so much possibility in this body, he observes. I cannot help but think humans don't appreciate the limits of their forms. I feel positively nubial. You notice the puncture wound in his chest from the other day is gone. Wow, fast healer. What happens if I give you the strange device? Sim examines the device for a moment and then hands it back to you. I think you had better hold on to this, Vissa, he says. You may need it later. Oh, that could be a bad... Nomi! Okay, so, and that also tells me that no, I did not come out here, or... There's new yellow events. One of the two. You meet up with Dis and Nomi. They've stumbled upon something strange and are arguing over what to do with it. It's a big blue crystal, knee-high and warm to the touch. It looks like there's something inside it. We gotta crack it open and see what's inside, Nomi exclaims. It could be anything. Are you a psychopath? Dis retorts, clearly offended. What if it's alive? You're gonna screw with the ecological balance because you're bored? It's for science, Nomi pouts, turning to you. Come on, Vissa. We'll do it. Come on, Vissa will do it. Right, Vissa? We have high enough animals to scan for a heartbeat. Oh, we become better friends with Nomi. You use some surveying equipment to detect a heartbeat, proving that, yes, it is alive. Can't tell much else since the scanner seems to be blocked by the crystal, but it's something. Nomi's absolutely delighted. The three of you happily leave it at that. Well, alright. Giant living crystals. Nothing exciting about that, I guess. Then again, we have seen crystals that have an entire root network and will explode when you try and remove one. So I guess I can't be surprised. So many goodies. These crystal clusters are very easy to find, and I'm grateful for that because we are starting to find some challenges that are more difficult, and I'm going to try and remember to use some of those crystal clusters to help with those. What's here at the end? It's a bushbub. Why is there a bushbub back here? First we pick up the collectibles, then we harass the bushbub. You hear Dis shouting from nearby to come quick and look at this. You meet up with Dis on a curiously clean part of the path. There's no twigs, pebbles, bits of grass, or the ubiquitous dorp moth scales that litter this area. It almost looks like it's been swept clean. And there, in the middle of a perfect circle, 3 meters wide, is what you could only describe as a shrine. Huh. A hollow, waist-height structure made from twigs and packed with sparks now forms the centerpiece, and around it are deliberately spaced piles of colorful fruit, flowers, and glittering stones like an offering. Stake it out and wait. This seems like a we sit and wait and see what in the world is happening kind of situation. And it's such a bummer straights can't work in reverse. Well, since we've got some 6s... Boy, I think that's the most fun option. Alright, so we're already at Super Goal, so just gonna throw a whole bunch of 6s on that and let it go. You hang out for hours, +5 stress, but don't discover anything, except how boring an idea this was. Just takes a nap. You're almost falling asleep when something shuffles into the clearing. It's a bush bub! It slowly crawls along the path. It stops to pick up a popflower. It stops to pick up a stone. When it arrives at the shrine, it carefully places the flower in the pile of flowers and the stone in the pile of stones. Then it picks up the stone and repositions it just so. You wonder if this creature is somehow religious, or is it trying to attract a mate with this little show of decor? There's so much you don't know about the animals that live here. Oh, I meant to actually hit keep exploring, but whatever. And take the month off so that we're all rested for Glow. I hope I remember. You're browsing the colony bulletin board on your home over breakfast when you notice a new post from Nomi. It seems to be a short story. The title is Xenos to the Rescue. Ooh boy. You open the story and read through it. Actually, you think you and Nomi did okay. Sure, the premise of talking manticores is a little shaky, and Nomi doesn't really spend enough time establishing the characters' motivations, but still an entertaining read. Sounds like children's content, honestly. You scroll through the comments. They're mostly supportive, if a little lukewarm, except for one. LMAO, this sucks. Xenos suck my sweaty balls. Suck! His face? Punched. Every chance. So happy we got to punch him in the face. He deserves it. Tangent, I gave you a present, right? No, I did not. Okay, so what do I think you might like? I don't think I've given her a flower yet. I think she's gonna dislike this. She likes it, huh? It seems you've remembered my birthday. How thoughtful of you, Tangy says, accepting the flower with a dubious look. I'll set this flower aside to analyze later. I'm interested in the properties of all Vertumnum flora. Are you... I think her and I think this is a year younger? I can't remember what their ages are like. I hope you find it useful. She turns to walk away, then remembers herself. Thank you, she adds, almost as an afterthought. So, all the girls like flowers, but they like them for different reasons, so I don't know if it's something to criticize or not. Let's relax. Relax on the walls. Most of the time you're alone up here, except for the occasional passing guard, but sometimes you're joined by Dis. He barely looks up at you as you plop down and kick your feet through the railing and over the edge. It looks like he's doodling on his holopad. You see all sorts of plants, mushrooms, little creatures with too many eyes or too many legs. There's a selection of plant samples at his side, like artist paintbrushes laid out on a towel. He must be quite the junior botanist. He's not drawing plants right now, though. You recognize Sim's long dark hair and his uncannily valley face anywhere. Looking good, bud. This shoots you a shy smile. Thanks, he mumbles. I'm not very good at drawing him yet. Let's get rid of telling him a violent tale and not saying goodbye. That's not something you can let go of that quickly. Low glow. An enemy doesn't want to say anything. Why? Curious if we're allowed out during Glow right now. It stands to reason that there will be some sort of attack this Glow, as there has been in other years, Tang says, looking out towards the walls. It's my hypothesis that each attack will grow in intensity until we are routed from the planet or become the dominant species. With how difficult this year was on our food supplies, we're certainly entering this season at a disadvantage. Wait, what? I'm sorry. Repeat that. What about our food supplies? Okay. Doesn't like log. Cal reaches up and strokes one of the native plants in the garden, its light reflecting onto his awestruck face. When we landed here, we didn't even know this was possible. What else don't we know about this place? Enjoy your blubber fruit. I straight almost did not see Dis there. Dis is standing stock still, staring out into the wilderness. Doesn't matter what we do or how hard we fight, he mutters. Nature's going to win in the end. It always does. Okay, so Dis and Tangent are twins, so next year we now know Dis's birthday. Dis, how do you feel about the crystal clusters? You're perfectly medium on them. Lighting... Oh, okay. That's what it's lighting up there. How do they keep Nomi inside? Nomi's gotta be somewhere out here, right? There's more bopper fruit. Okay. So... considering this is glow, this would be a good time for us to go be a lookout. Lookout duty. The dim, sleepy glow of the season makes it so hard to stay awake. You stumble and yawn through your shift every day, literally trying to keep your eyes on the smudge of the tree line. Only the worry that the colony is usually attacked during glow keeps your eyes open. You have to be ready to sound the alarm when, not if, it happens. That looks good to me. Whole bunch of stat-ups that don't matter. You're on lookout duty when you see it. A break in the tree line. A dark shape lumbering out of the forest and into the fire break surrounding the colony. No, not one. Two. Two faceless creatures. You sound the alarm. Join the fray. You grab a plasma rifle and report to the front, where a line of soldiers taking up arms is waiting for orders. The colony prepares to defend itself against the two building-scale faceless, as well as the teeming swarm of smaller Xenos that swarm towards you. Hold steady, orders security ret. Keep the line! No! Governor Lum yells, running from the front gates to the front of the defensive line. He elbows Ret out of the way and waves his arms wildly. Bring them closer! Draw them in! Ret stops himself from shoving Lum back, but just barely, you can tell. Are you serious? He retorts. We can't lump them any further into the colony. Lum doesn't realize we lost a colony to one of these things. We're gonna fight them on our territory, Lum cries, raising his plasma rifle over his head with one hand. We have the walls. Let's use them! We'll let them come inside and pick them off one by one. We can't pick off a faceless, Rhett sputters from the sidelines. Lum smiles maniacally. You can see the glim of his teeth from here. I have a plan, he roars. Just follow my lead! With that, he turns and begins to run towards the approaching animals, roaring taunts and firing wildly into the fray to draw them close. At a loss, Rhett motions you all to fall back and let the animals approach. The area just inside the gates becomes a swirling melee of smaller Xenos and plasma rifle fire, the two faceless lumbering slowly behind. Staying out of the way seems weird, but typically you want to go with the challenges. That's weird to me. Wait, if I go like this... Sure. 6. It's gonna be way more than 6. 5. Gives me a straight, which gets us the buff off of Squidly. Always welcome. 9 back there, 6, 5. Sure. Cleared that nice and well. Even got the kudos bonus. You're not exactly a professional soldier, but you manage to hold your own against the Xenos, even though you still scream and retreat when something gets too close. You don't injure any humans with your plasma rifle, at least. Now the artillery smoke wafting over the battlefield, Lum comes running. Here they come! Here they come! He shouts joyfully, and plows through the gates with the two faceless galloping behind him. Without a doubt idiotic and horrendously dangerous. You can't help it. You hit record on your holopalm and film the ensuing chaos. You catch a glimpse of Chief Rhett putting his hand over his face and sighing. A squad of Helio soldiers takes up the charge and helps shepherd the Faceless into the open area in the middle of the colony. You have horrible flashbacks the first time you saw a Faceless inside these walls. And looks on the faces of the other Stratos, you're not the only one. Then you're all thrown into the ground by a tremendous explosion. Fire engulfs the center square, roasting the two Faceless in an inferno that blasts the sweat from your pores. Rocks and chunks of dirt patter all around you, with the occasional thunk of burning mushwood. Those soldiers nearest the blaze all recoil in surprise. Clearly, no one but Lum knew that the square had been rigged with explosives. You don't think anyone was caught in the blast, but it was close. Lum stands before the blaze, laughing and firing at the two tortured Faceless as they roast to death. You raise your home to capture the image, his silhouette dark against the column of flame and smoke. It was ridiculously dangerous and stupid, but does look pretty cool in your recorded footage. People filter out their hiding places, shielding their faces from the heat coming off the bonfire in the middle of the square. On the horizon, the first water rays of quiet sunrise are struggling to make a dent in the hot orange glare. The colony's fire suppression system is turned on the square, revealing the charred corpses of the two Faceless. Utopia walks by with a reclamation team, hauling an industrial plasma cutter on a hoverlift. Did he use mining explosives? Utopia says in awe. Mighty bold of him. Those things will blow a hole in a mountain. Or creature, I suppose. She sighs. Wish you could have saved them from mining. That must have been the last of them. We sure can't make more. Then she and the crew are out of earshot as they pick their way down the blast crater to carve up the faces for recycling. Oh, we have high enough colony defense that we get it fortunately. -2 colony defense. Fortunately, the colony was well defended. You and the other colonists have been fortifying the defenses, putting security above all else. Tonight's defense was still a resounding, if messy, success. But, if Utopia's right, you don't have any more of those explosives now. You can't just nanoprint unstable molecules like that. What are you going to do during the next attack? Yeah, that seems to be Lum's style. Oh! We've grown again. How about that? Start age 17. I know Vase is also older now, but I don't wanna. We finally see her in her final form! This is the Nem that rescues us! You go to the garrison looking for Nem, but she finds you first, pouncing on you and wrapping her arm around your shoulders. Buddy! Friend oh pal! She exclaims. She leans in close, smiling wide with barely contained energy. If I don't do something a little wild, I'm gonna go bonkers, she says, so only you can hear. Everyone's so stressed out and I feel like I gotta do something extreme. Like I want to strip naked and climb to the top of the colony and scream until someone makes me stop. Like I got bugs in my brain. 16 years old? Yeah, that's about right. So I got an idea, she continues, and I need you to come with me so I don't cower out. Nem leads you by the hand down one of the lesser-used hallways of the garrison until you come to a small room. Inside are two barber chairs and a table next to some dangerous-looking but delicate machinery. A stout woman with a buzz cut looks up from reading something on her holopad. What's up, anatomy? Need that side shave freshened up already? Nem shakes her head and grips your hand tight. No, I want a tattoo, she says. Can you do that? I don't know how a tattoo works with your augment anemone. The woman gestures to dismiss her holopad and pulls out a thick book from behind the counter. You and Nem crowd around it, marveling at the sight of real paper as it falls open to display a selection of tattoo designs. Used to be the only thing I do here is buzz cuts and military tattoos, and hair dye for that Nomi kid, the woman says. Since we landed here, you haven't been the only person who's come looking for something a little more artistic. She smiles. Take a look through this and see what I can do. You and Nem flip through the pages reverently. I was thinking, she says quietly, running her fingers over a circlet of horns. I want something to remind me that Vitumna is my home, and everyone here is my people. To remind me why I fight. She shoots you a smile, uncharacteristically shy. I want something to link me to you, she says, looking away as her cheeks turn red. Not everyone here? You're the person who means the most to me. Sam! Her eyes go wide. Nah, wait! We should get matching tattoos, she exclaims. Come on, what do you think? Yes! Absolutely. Hell yeah! Nem says, pumping her fist. What should we get? The book of tattoo designs lays before you. What do you want to get? The Drospheric logo surrounded by knives, each other's names, mushrooms growing out of a human skull. None of these are flirting! This one should be flirting! Mushrooms growing out of a human skull. Suns represent the twin sons of Vertumna, a sword and a shield. I kind of like it, the sword and shield, because I'm the person going out and she's the one focusing on defense. Let's do a sword and shield. Whoa! Nem reacts. Just like knights? That sounds awesome. You want to be the sword or the shield? I'll take the sword. Enemy's loyalty 3. All red cards under 5 become 5. You sit down in the tattoo chair and bare your right arm. Tattoo artist / barber transfers the design onto your skin and fires up the machine, which buzzes alarmingly. You and Nem look at it, wide-eyed. I guess you kids have never seen Earth Tech, huh? She says, preparing the gun. Tattooing is one of the oldest human arts, so there's not too much holograms and replicators can improve on it. Stuff I do here reminds us that even when we're out among the stars, we're still just meat with thoughts. Tough your way through it. It smarks a bit when the tattoo artist presses the needle to your skin and begins her work, but you're pretty tough. Nem looks a little green as blood wells up around the needle and grabs your hand. This is so cool, she breathes as the design begins to bloom on your skin. It takes about an hour for the tattoo artist to get down the bold first strokes of your tattoo. Nem holds your hand the whole time. When the artist steps away to stretch, Nem leans in and gasps. It looks so awesome, Nem says. This is the coolest thing we've ever done. This is galactic. She looks up at you. I meant what I said, she says, her voice a little wet. You're my best friend on this whole rock. You've always been here for me. I'll always be here for you, no matter what, thick and thin. Nem sniffles, then looks embarrassed. Man, it's dusty in here. The tattoo artist returns and finishes up your tattoo, then moves on to Nem. She takes it bravely, though she sometimes squeezes your hand so hard it almost hurts. Afterwards, you go back to your room and to decompress and admire your bravery. Nem flops onto your bed and you climb on after her, careful of your aching arm and the newly wrapped tattoos. I can't believe we did that, she crows, kicking her legs in the air. That was so awesome! She turns to you and pushes her unruly hair over her shoulder. Thank you for coming with me, she says seriously. I probably wouldn't have done it if you weren't there, and then I probably would have done something reckless. She laughs, brash and unashamed. Well, even more reckless. Yeah, no, Vissa is still struggling, and this is her best friend who she has been worried has been drifting away, and I'd do anything for you. Nem blushes and hides her face in her hands. Vissa! She exclaims. Don't make it weird. I want to make it all the way weird. You spot Nem playing darts with a bunch of other soldiers. She throws a dart and it lands clear in the middle of a faceless's, well, head isn't the right word, but the soldiers all cheer and clap her on the back. She breaks away from the group and slings an arm over your shoulder. Did you see that, Vissa? Presents mean nothing, giving them to Nem now, but, you know, we keep going anyways. Her hair is glorious. I want this hair, even long like this. Hey, you grew your hair back out a bit. Tangent is standing still with her God, Tangent. Beautiful. Tangent is standing still with her face held up to the sky, letting blue snowflakes land on her cheeks. They'll melt almost immediately. She doesn't move as you approach. After a minute, she winces and rubs her eyes. It stings, she says, because it's made of acid. Acid snow. Ping nods. The HoloNet entry says it isn't harmful. It freezes at 12 degrees Celsius and turns into tiny crystals that are so heavy they fall from the clouds. You can see them under a microscope. She sticks her tongue out and lets some of the flakes fall on it. It tastes kind of sour, but sweet, she observes. Fascinating. Ping pulls a sample jar out of her coat. We know what it's made of, but our understanding is incomplete, she says. Place the jar on an outcropping of rocks. The big mushrooms changed in shape and color before the snow began to fall. I wonder, is there some sort of signal that precedes the changing of the seasons? What happens if I expose samples collected in dust season to snow from quiet? A small excited smile creeps across Tang's face. So much to learn about this planet. I can't wait. You and your brother are so much alike. Tang narrows her eyes. Yes, I used to get that a lot, she says. I guess it's still true, if you think sneaking out of the colony is the same as valid scientific research. He frowns at you. He's so dumb, she mutters and shoves her hands under her arms. He only cares about feelings, especially his own. Can't tell her she's wrong. Have a flower. Tammy! Tammy, 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 Tammy! Tammy looks conflicted today. Aw. You've very much so grown up. This one doesn't get to be a surprise, though. We've seen this one before. Tammy looks conflicted today. She anxiously twists her hands in her shawl as she speaks. I think if I have a baby, I want it to be from Vertumna. Do you know what I mean? I've just been thinking about it, and I can't imagine a strangerism. You know, she says, then ducks her head and smiles meekly out the window towards the geoponics domes. Not when there are people I love here. You and Cal are very cute. Hey, Rex. How old is Rex? Rex is 17. God, you freaking twink. Over the years, a lot of people have started wearing a lot less clothing than you remember from when you were growing up on the climate-controlled stratospheric. Definitely a lot less than in the holovids you brought from Earth. Rex, though? Rex is really acclimated to Vertumna's hot, sultry weather. No, let's keep our shirts on. That's one of the things I haven't gotten to touch on, is that Vissa usually has just, like, the heaviest armor possible on. Are you kidding me? He asks, throwing his arms wide. First, it's hot as balls out here. I work outdoors and whoo-wee, no joke, I'd take off more if I could. He cranes his head up to the sky. Second, I like the feeling of the sun on my skin. After 15 years in a sunless tube hurtling through space, I want to soak in as much as I can. It makes me feel great. Rex laughs and knocks himself into your shoulder. I think our bodies were meant to live this way. Don't even get me started about pants, bud. Okay, tone it down. Nomi, you are a Technicolor dream. You look over Nomi's shoulder and see that they're drawing a whole page dedicated to native Vertumnan plants. They look up at you and rub their cheek with the end of their pencil. I know we're supposed to believe in Governor Lum, they confess, but what if we accidentally hurt the planet? What if some of the super cool plants and animals die? They look down at their page. I just think it'd be really sad if that happened. Aw, you are a good kid. Have crystals. I think this is another one that our dreams have spoiled. Yeah. I don't really care for aliens, Mars says, examining her nails. Why would I? Humans are far more interesting. If the aliens are so cool, why don't they have cities already? She tosses her hair. Checkmate, aliens. Oh, nope. Can't deal with you. Have a flower, and now I will continue to ignore you, like I have previous years. Oh my god, does Cal have stubble? Cal has 5 o'clock shadow. Also is ripped. Holy crap. Cal is digging at the garden with even more passion than usual. Stupid soldier assholes, he mutters, throwing weeds into a growing pile. They think they're so important. And, it's harder to grow stuff than it is to kill it. Not that they would know. He sighs and lets himself fall back into the dirt. It's only a war on nature because we keep pissing it off, he says, gesturing to the pile of green weeds. We're an invasive species. Literally! We just gotta figure out our niche in the ecosystem, man. I gave him the long, drawn-out man there. He was a little mean. Okay, Cal does not like the flowers, which is fine. I think it's maybe a little bit of a bummer, but eh. Now, where's our boy? Where's our boy? How... The glorious emo image. How do you get your hair to even do that? Dis is relaxing in the back of one of the expedition vehicles, absorbed in a hollow novel. You clear your throat and he jumps and gives you an awkward but genuine smile. Hey, Vissa, he says, pulling his legs out of the way so you can climb beside him. It's getting harder to find places to be alone here, don't you think? I'd kill to be out exploring. Utopia insisted we have a rest day. He rolls his eyes. This closes his hollow novel and sighs. It's just so crowded here, he complains, and it's boring. I'd rather be out there with Sim, learning about this planet. This continues, looking wistfully. He folds his hands over his heart. He's so interesting. Talk to him forever, like we really connect. Have you gotten much out of him? Yeah! Dis exclaims, sitting up straighter. Well, I mean, sort of. He still says there's stuff I'm not supposed to know yet, but I figured out a lot on my own. The biggest thing is that the planet is basically all connected, like a fungal network that's so old and complex that's practically like a computer, he says, talking fast and excited. And not just the mushrooms, the trees, the animals, even the rocks in the water. This smiles. He didn't want me to know that one, he confides in you, but I guessed it. Remember how your dad got sick every year from the pollen? It was actually fungal spores? I just started thinking from there, and yeah, it's like every year the planet refreshes its communication network with fresh spores. It's so cool. I didn't know that. Well, how about the fact that Sim is really old? Like, really, really old. Dis continues, like probably thousands of years old. Sometimes he talks about stuff from ancient history like he was really there. Because he totally was. Dis laughs a little, but he still acts like a kid sometimes, you know? Like, he loves holovids and candy and playing tricks. I knew that one! Oh right, Dis says. He said that you helped him get the access to the holovid archive. Good job, by the way. Oh, and I've seen other gardeners, Dis says quietly. They don't look like Sim at all. They look like, well, they look scary. Tell me that they're faceless and I will go kill them. All of them. Okay, one more, Dis says, his face going pink. The gardeners don't have any clothes. Sim was naked when I met him. I had to bring him clothes from the colony. Are you blushing? No, Dis stammers, his face going even more red. It was just really embarrassing, okay? He was naked. I didn't know where to look. What about you? What has he told you? Well, Dis is listening intently. Sim's hair seems alive. Good, I know nothing. Dis rolls his eyes. Well, duh, anyone who sees him knows that. He says, it like moves, right? I thought I was imagining it. It's kind of like how plants move to face the sunlight. That's all I know. I wish we could tell people about Sim, Dis says. I feel like people knew him like we do. They realized that what we're doing here is wrong. I'm scared that if I tell someone, Sim will never talk to me again. He says we're not ready. We can't tell anyone what we know. The gardeners are dangerous. We can't tell anyone what we know. I don't know about the dangerous part yet. I know, Dis mumbles, sighing as he thunks his head against the window of the cab. I don't want to mess up whatever plan they have. Just want to help though, you know? I know. Dis nods and turns away, done with this conversation. The soldiers are assholes, Dis says, scowling at a group of them just outside of earshot. They stomp through the forest like they own it. They kill whatever they don't understand. They talk about how they're protecting us, but they're only making it worse. God, Dis, how does your voice keep getting harder for me to do? I don't get it. Dis also does not care about flour. Okay, this is fantastic, and I'm very happy with it. Actually, sorry, before I forget to do something, we are absolutely just ignoring Vase, by the way. I want to go do defense training. I want to do this because I want to see if it unlocks anything given our max stats. You and Em are practicing judo moves, chucking each other into semi-deflated poof shrooms, which have been set up like mats. You're learning to throw, but also learning to fall properly without getting hurt. It's pretty fun. It's pretty fun. The enormous mushrooms are surprisingly springy and bounce you right back up. Get fresh with Nem! Get fresh with Nem! You time your throw just right to have your arm around her waist just a little bit longer than necessary, and give her a wink as you toss her gently into the bouncy mat. She blushes and scrambles to her feet, looking away. When it's her turn, you feel her heart beating fast. What's she going to do? She flips you super hard in response, and laughs her beautiful, wonderful laugh as the poof shroom mat sends you flying. Zoom! Does that mean she likes you back? You aren't sure, but love certainly hurts. So good! So good! I'm dying! That makes me so happy! That's so wonderful! Oh, we're definitely gonna just go throwing ourselves at Nem now. Any activity that gets us time with her. Okay. But for the YouTube episode, that's what I'm calling it. Thank you so much for watching. Who would you, given what we've done in this game so far, who would you pick to date? Might not get to take those, probably won't get to, no, just, I won't get to take those into account. This is like a week out from being posted. But, I'm curious what other people's thoughts are. Thank you so much for watching though, and have the best day you possibly can.